Good evening, gentle listener, and welcome to Distractible with your hosts, Mark, Bob, and Wade. This week,
the day I broke my ass. So it's freshman year at college, and I wanted to do an activity. I tried to do parkour, and it was like supposed to be a quote-unquote beginner parkour thing. I showed up at the place, and we met in the parking garage, and it was me and 3 other dudes. And one of them had done parkour, maybe. And the other 3 of us were just like complete newbies getting in there and just trying to have an adventure. So really, looking back on it, this might have been the stupidest thing I've ever done in my entire life. But I exuded confidence while I was there. I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. Parkour, you jump around on stuff and you try to do sick leaps off of things and you do tucks and rolls, right? So we jump around the parking garage, and I don't know why I was okay with this. We were jumping around the 4th level of the parking garage. And so we were leaping around there, we were jumping around. We would go like over the edge with like 50 feet below us, and we would just like dance around there for a little bit and like shimmy our way across. And so we actually end up like dropping down 2 floors anyway but the stairs or the ramp inside. So like crawling around the building outside. And I don't die at this point. But we get down to the 2nd level, and it's time to drop from the 2nd story and do a sweet tuck and roll into this little grass patch. And so the first guy goes, and he goes like drop and tuck and roll, and it's perfect, and he's fine. And then the second guy goes, and he manages to do it, a tuck and roll. And it's at this point that I realized they assumed I knew how to do a tuck and roll, which I had never done in my life. So there I am, hanging off by one hand from the 2nd story ledge of a concrete parking garage, looking at a tiny patch of grass that I'm supposed to hit. And in my head, I'm like, it can't be that hard. And so they're all giving me encouraging words. They're like, you can do it! I'm like, you got this! And I'm like, I got this. I got this. And so I drop. And when my legs hit the ground, thankfully they bent the correct way. But I didn't go forward at all. I landed from the 2nd story straight onto my ass. Like 100% full on into my ass. I felt something pop. I felt it like this stunned thing where you're like on the ground like, am I dead? Am I dead? And I get up from that and they're just like, what the fuck, are you okay? And like, weirdly enough, I seemed totally fine. I wasn't. So I decided to take this parkour adventure to the next level. And then the guy behind me is about to go. And he drops. And instead of falling on his ass, he fell on his face.
Oh, no.
Like his legs hit, he went forward. He did not roll. Like 100% no roll, right into his face and chest hit the ground. Jesus. And you just hear him go, like,
oh, God,
like just all the wind dropped out of him. And I kind of realized at this point, we don't know what we're doing, but I was in too deep. So, you know, after a while, we're just standing there. We're looking at this guy on the ground, and we're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? He gets up, and he plays it off like, I'm fine. But clearly, his ribs are broken. Like, straight up, his ribs are broken.
God.
And so he gets up, he's like, I think I'm good for today, guys. I think I'm gonna go lay down. So it's like he stumbles off and we're watching him. We watch him walk away for like 5 minutes because it's just this long stretch of path and he's going real slow. And so he disappears around the corner and we're just like, we look at each other, we're like, all right, let's keep going, guys. You know, it's just like, and so we go over to this building. It's DAP, for those who don't know. It's got interesting architecture, which is apparently perfect for parkour.
Yeah.
And so design, art, architecture, and parkour. We get to DAP and we start climbing up. And like at this point, you know, I'm reaching up and trying to pull myself up. And, you know, I'm not weak, but it was like, there was one part where it was pulling up again to a 2nd story thing. And I'm like, I didn't know if I could pull myself up all the way. And they weren't helping because they were already like running ahead of me, like jumping over shit. And I'm like, I'm hanging from a railing and I'm just like, oh God, this is, and then I managed to get like the crazy adrenaline strength and pull myself up. And so we get to the roof. We get to the roof of DAP. Somehow we made up. And it's like not a short building. It's not an incredibly tall building. I think it's like 3 stories up on the roof.
It's tall enough, yeah.
Yeah, and then we hear sirens when we're up on the roof. And Cincinnati, there's plenty of sirens, but for some reason in our brain, we're like, they're coming for us. They found out. We went into the forbidden zone. And we're like, they're gonna get us on this roof. We've committed horrible crimes. So we all panic, right? So we panic and we run off and we go back a different way and we drop down a ledge. And then again, they drop down from this second story ledge onto this grassy part. And it's like a hurry now. There's no time to debate about it. So I find myself once again hanging by one hand from a second story ledge looking down. But in my mind at this moment, I'm like, okay, I went backwards that last time. I'll go forwards this time. I know what my mistake was. And so I drop and I'm like, forward, 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 and then roll. I saw them roll on their shoulder. And so my legs hit the ground. I go forward. And I put 100% of my weight right onto my shoulder. And I don't move. And it's just like, I hit the ground, my shoulder just... It's like, if you just imagine someone just dropped in the fetal position onto the ground from 2 stories. It's like,
well, thank God you did it the right way that time.
Yeah, thank God you rolled forward, saved it.
You'd think that I would have, after the first fall, okay, guys, can you show me how to do this roll thing? Because it's clear that I don't know.
No, that's not cool. That's not cool. You gotta be cool.
And I can't believe they didn't say, do you want, to practice or anything? Do you want us to, teach you? It's like, no, I must have made a mistake. I'm a parkour expert, and that was just a flub.
I hope they lost their parkour teaching license after this.
And so, I hit the ground, and I'm just I am down there for a while. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay, and I look up, and they're gone.
They taught you, didn't they?
They freaking destroyed my body and then bail.
I think the only way that could be better at all is if you look up and there's 2 cops just standing there. Just we know where you were. That's the forbidden roof.
This just goes to show you guys, you do dumb shit, you get friends for life.
Play dumb games, get dumb prizes, right?
Yeah, man.